Today we will review 6th grade math lesson 13.2. Here's your I can statement. I can find the volume of a rectangular prism using the formula volume equals length times width times height, or volume equals base times height, and I can explain my solution method to others. Let's review some vocabulary for today. I encourage you to write this down in a math spiral notebook. So we have volume. So volume is the amount of space a solid occupies, and it is three-dimensional. And again, volume is length times width times height. You can find the volume of a rectangular prism by multiplying its length by its width times by its height. Let's look at the first one, and if you'd like to see an example in your student workbook, please turn to page 425 into the homework section. I encourage you to stop this video at any time and complete these problems on your own first, and then watch the video. So here's a rectangular prism to your right. Let's find the volume. Use the given dimensions of the rectangular prism and find the volume to calculate the volume of the rectangular prism, and use the volume formula. So the volume formula is here. Length times width times height. So then we go ahead and we do 20 times 8 times 16, and we put that right here. And we get 2,560 centimeters cubed. The volume of a rectangular prism is 2,560 centimeters cubed. Make sure, because this is a three-dimensional object, you have to note here, we have 3 dimensions. Our dimensions here is length, then we have the second one is width, and the third dimension is height. It's called a three-dimensional object. That's why we have to leave our answer must be in units cubed when we are dealing with volume. Let's work on a few examples below. And it says to find the volume of each figure. And we will continue to use our formula, volume equals length times width times height. Okay, so the first one looks pretty straightforward. It's 5 times 7 times 2, which is 70 centimeters cubed. And the next one, 2 times 5 times 10, which would be 100 meters cubed. And then I'm going down to number 6, 8 times 5 times 2, which is 80 centimeters cubed. Now let's work on this one with fractions here. I'm just going to keep them as fractions. So we know that when we do volume, we're going to be multiplying. So I'm multiplying 1.5 by 2.5 by 3.5 to get the volume. And my answer will be in feet cubed. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply these two together. So if I have 1.5 times 2.5. So go ahead and remember what we do with mixed numbers here. So this is 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3 halves. And then 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5 halves. And then you just multiply across and you get 15 halves. I'm sorry, you get 15 fourths. Because 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so now that we have this, we need to take 15 fourths and we need to multiply that times the next term here, which is 3.5. So we need to change 15, 4 stays the same, and then we do 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7 halves. So 15 times 7 is 105, and 4 times 2 is 8. So now I need to go ahead and divide. So I can work up here. So I have 105 divided by 8. So 8 goes into 10 one time. 1 times 8 is 8. Subtract, bring down. 8 into 25 is 3. 3 times 8 is 24. And I have 1 left over. So my answer will be 13 1/8 feet cubed. So it might take you a little longer on the ones with fractions or decimals, but you can do it because this is just a review. All right, let's look at the next one. Here we have volume equals 4 5/10 times 3 2/10 times 4 2/10. Okay, let's go ahead and do our math. So we're going to multiply decimals here. So the first thing I do is I need to multiply these two together. So 2 times 5 is 10. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 4 is 12 plus 1 is 13. And then go ahead and add those up. And then remember to count your decimals. So we have 1, 2, 1, 2. So my decimal goes right there. So now I need to multiply 14 4/10 times this last term left over. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 4 is 16 plus 1 is 17. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5. And I get. Then go ahead and count your decimals. You've got 1, 2. So my answer would be 60 48/100 centimeters cubed. And you would do the same thing for number 5. So you can do that one on your own and work that one out, and you would get 136.5 centimeters cubed. And that is your lesson for Module 13, Lesson 2 for Grade 6.